In this tutorial, we're going to discuss different kinds of angles that come from parallel lines. Now, in this picture, I know that this isn't perfect, but I want you to look at lines L and M. Those are the black lines. And we are going to assume that they are parallel. And you can always tell parallel lines if they have a certain symbol, which is a little triangle right on top of them. And as long as they have the same amount of triangles, you know that they are parallel. So that's the best job I can do on this. I'm sorry, it's not perfect. So the first kind of angles that we're going to look at are what's called alternate interior angles. And the reason why they're called alternate interior angles is because these two particular angles are at alternate sides of the transversal. And in this picture, there's a purple line, and it's called the transversal, and it's a very fancy word for a line that intersects two parallel lines. Okay? So when we talk about alternate, these two angles have to be somewhere on different sides of that transversal. The interior part means that they are on the inside of the parallel lines. So, for example, if I look up here in my picture, it could be this angle here and this angle here. So those two angles in particular are on opposite sides or alternate sides of the transversal, yet inside the parallel lines. So those are alternate interior angles. So the next one that we're going to look at are same side interior angles. And same side interior angles, once again, it means that they are on the same side of the transversal this time, yet they are still inside those parallel lines. So that would be perhaps this angle and this angle. Those two are same side interior angles. The next one that we're going to look at are corresponding angles. And before that, I want to also let you know that these two angles, any pair of same side interior angles, will always add up to 180 degrees. So the measure of this angle plus the measure of this angle will equal 180 degrees. The one that we just saw before, alternate interior angles, are congruent. In other words, they can be set equal to each other. Don't worry if you don't get all of this right now. I'm going to put a summary at the end of this so that you know. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at corresponding angles. Okay, so corresponding angles are congruent, and they are kind of the oddball of all of the kinds of angles that come out of parallel lines. Corresponding angles are on the same side of the transversal, yet on different sides of the parallel lines. So, for example, it could be this angle here and this angle here. So they're on the same side of the transversal, but on different sides of the parallel line. So the one up top is on the right-hand side, or on the outside, I should say, and down here, the angle is on the inside. So these two angles are congruent. In other words, this angle is equal to this angle. Those are corresponding angles. Let's take a look at another kind of pair of angles, which are called, let's see, alternate exterior angles. Okay, so once again, the alternate part here means on alternate sides of the transversal. Exterior means on the outside of the parallel lines. So if I start with this angle up here, I have to be on the other side of the transversal and all the way on the outside, so that would be this guy right here. And these angles are also congruent. That is a bad congruency symbol. I am very sorry. I'm going to redraw that for you. So, in other words, I can set this angle equal to this one if I needed an equation. All right, let's take a look at same side exterior angles. All right, once again, these angles are going to be on the same side of the transversal, yet on the outside of the parallel lines. So in other words, this angle and perhaps this angle. And these are going to add up to 180 degrees. So this angle plus this angle equals 180. Alright, so let's summarize. We've looked at 5 different kinds of pairs of angles that come from parallel lines. And the first kind that we talked about was alternate interior angles. And I like to abbreviate alternate interior angles by AIA, alternate interior angles. And these particular pair of angles are congruent. The next pair that we looked at were same side interior, and I like to abbreviate that by SSIA, same side interior angles, and those added up to 180 degrees. In other words, they were supplementary. The next kind were corresponding angles, which I'm going to abbreviate just CA, corresponding angles, and those were also congruent. And then we had alternate exterior angles, so that would be AEA, alternate exterior angles, and those were also congruent. And the last one that we had was same side exterior angles, so SSEA, and those were also 180 degrees, which were supplementary as well. Now, the only way that I have come to understand the differences here, like how to remember if they're congruent or 180 degrees, is the only ones that are 180 degrees all have 3 S's. So look at same side interior angles for me real quick. Look at the abbreviation. It says same side, and then they are supplementary. So SSS, you know that they're 180 degrees. Look at the bottom one down here too. I have S, S, and over to the right, another S. So as long as they have 3 S's, they automatically are 180 degrees, and that's the best way I know to remember those. If you can find your own way, then that would be great too. And that concludes this tutorial.